Oh, John and Hallie, congratulations, guys. Just want to start by thanking Mr. and Mrs. Spooner for hosting such an absolutely beautiful event tonight. I think there's no doubt this whole day has been fantastic, and we've definitely created some memories that we're going to cherish for a lifetime. I think there's no doubt in anyone's mind, everyone here knows John and Hallie in each unique individual way, and you know how absolutely amazing both of them are. And I think that probably most of you here would like to take a little bit of credit for that in your own ways. I think that I actually deserve a little bit more. I'm not going to get into all that. I had a nice little thing planned out, and pretty recently John told me, here's the things that you can't talk about. Because if any of you were at my wedding, you remember how he lit me up. A couple of those things on the list include my halitosis, my chronic flatulence, and the bottoms of my feet. So that and a lot of other things have really put a stop to my toast. That's for roasting me at my wedding. But one other thing that I do want to mention really quick is I really do think that I played a little bit of a role in creating the man that John has become by stopping some of his habits along the way. One of them included jamming tissues up his nose. John's blowing his nose, he's just jamming tissues up there and just leaving piles of them by his baseball card. When we were young, we'd get out of school, he'd go to his Latin elective, and I'd go to detention. And then we'd go home, and we'd walk home talking about our baseball cards. And John took collecting baseball cards to a whole new level. Every month he'd get his it was called a Beckett, and it was a price guide to determine the most recent value of cards. And he would determine which cards, very studiously, which cards were increasing in value, which cards were going down. And he'd get rid of the ones right away that were going down. So, Hallie, just so you know, in my parents' house, socked away is literally hundreds of dollars in baseball cards. And it might even be in excess of 1,000. So you guys are in good shape. But with that, another thing that John what he learned, what he picked up from this diligent daily routine was his ability to determine the value of something. And I think that tonight is kind of like the apex of how good he became at that. And when he somehow convinced you to say, I do. I mean, we all watched you grow up. We were all neighbors together. We were all kind of siblings, quasi-siblings. And I know that whenever my friends came asking about Mary, they didn't even ask about Mary or Trisha Platten. They were just simply off limits because, they were their family. But they asked about Hallie, and immediately it was like, that's my little sister, and it's off limits. So my solution to that was I went over a couple houses down and got another one of my neighbors I sold myself another one of my neighbors and ultimately ended up marrying their niece. John thought outside the box and said, well, I'm just going to marry my quasi-sister. And that's because he saw value. He saw incredible value in a beautiful woman and a beautiful family, and just the opportunity of a lifetime. And today is the first day for that opportunity of a lifetime for you guys. John's greatest baseball card is his original Babe Ruth, which actually is worth a lot of money. And I think that if Babe were here tonight, we all love Babe Ruth. I think if Babe were here, he would tell John, he would get on John's level and use a rugby term and say, John, you've outkicked your coverage big time, buddy. So remember that for the rest of your life. So to that, we just all real quick raise our glasses. To John and Hallie, two beautiful people. Can't wait to spend the rest of our lives with you.